YouTube, my name is The Legend of DS and welcome back to another Super Smash Brothers video. This time it's me discussing, one of the things that I hate the most, one of the worst arguments I think in Super Smash Brothers whenever a new character gets unveiled, and that is, there's too many sword characters. Well, when it's a sword character being revealed. But anyway, this is something that I've discussed before and I've discussed multiple times. And this is one of the worst arguments from out there. People keep saying, oh, there's too many sword riders. You can only animate the sword too many different ways. Well, first things first, just gonna point that out. You can also not do a punching animation too differently. Heck, here's a picture, an image, a screenshot from Super Smash Brothers, 4? Yeah, this is from 4. This screenshot right here is from Super Smash Brothers 4, and as you can see, 7 characters doing the exact same move. It's literally the same move. Well, 2 of them, literally Mega Man and Ryu, are doing Shoryukens. I believe Mario and Dr. Mario are just doing, their tilts, their up tilts, and I think the same thing can be said for the Brawler. So there's 7 characters doing basically the same exact animation. That's just it. But anyway, people keep saying every time we get a new sword fighter announced, there's too many sword fighters. Sword fighters are... It's super sword fighter robot, or Smash Brothers. Jesus, why did it took me so long to say that? But is it accurate? Is it fair to say that? Well, I went and looked through the Super Smash Brothers roster. And before I give you some images from Super Smash Brothers 4, and specifically where people also tabulated this same thing that I did, I decided to do a little bit of math and research and all that stuff. So I included all the characters in Super Smash Bros. Right now, even the DLC ones that have yet to come out. So we have 78 characters to go through. And I divided them into 4 groups. I divided them between brawlers, sword wielders, magic/gun users, so because it's energy based attacks and some characters doesn't really I put them together basically because it's technically speaking it's also magic, and miscellaneous characters that didn't fit into any of this. Also, I'm just going to point out, going back to the sword thing, you can only animate them so many times. How many attacks do we have in Smash Brothers that are basically the same thing? The charge attack from Samus, Dark Samus, Mewtwo, and Lucario are basically the same move. Yeah, they have different properties when they go around, but it's still basically the same move. Just going to point that out there, just going to say that. Still. So again, I divided them between brawlers, sword wielders, magic/gun users, and miscellaneous. Now, I'm gonna give you numbers for each of these. I'm not gonna tell you guys which one had the most. I'm just gonna say the roster is at 78. And I was fair to one of the groups and removed characters. I could even be even better for that group of people and remove even more characters from that group. But that group, the leading group, had 35 characters that would fit into it. 35 characters! That's half the roster. Actually, if I had... There's 3 characters in the technicality, in the miscellaneous section, that could go into that group. So I kind of already spoiled that miscellaneous is not number 1. So, I'm going to give you the numbers from top to bottom of numbers. So, one group had 8 characters. That's the final group. Second group, or third group, third place, 17. Third, 18. And the first, again, 35. So, the group in 4th place was the miscellaneous group. That includes the Ice Climbers, Ganon, DDD, Rosalina and Luma, Palutena, Bowser Jr., and the Belmonts. So that's 8 characters, with some characters being removed from a certain group. Or they could fit in a certain group, but I didn't put them there. Then you have the magic/gun users, which are Samus, Dark Samus, Pikachu, Ness, Zelda, Pichu, Mewtwo, Lucas, Snake, Rob, Pokemon Trainer, Mega Man, Greninja, Bayonetta, Inklings, and the Piranha Plant. So that's 17 characters. And some characters in here could also fit the first row of characters. Then we have number 2 with 18 characters, sword wielders. So sword wielders beat magic users by 1. Now technically speaking, characters like, well actually technically speaking, magic/gun users surpass sword wielders because Pokemon trainers should be counted as 3 characters. So technically speaking, magic gun wielders have 19, not 17. But still, Rob and like some of the Pokemon probably don't count as magic wielders, but I count them as magic wielders in here just to make it fairer to the first group, to the group of people that have for the first group. So as you can see, sword wielder has 18, which means brawlers had 35. But here's the characters that are part of the sword wielder group: Link, Marth, Lucina, Young Link, Roy, Chrom, Meta Knight, Pit, Dark Pit, Ike, Toon Link, Me Sword Wielder, Robin, Shulk, Corrin, Joker, the Hero, and Cloud. Now, some things, and before we get into this, I'm going to bring up, let's talk about the brawlers. Number of brawlers is 35. So first, we have Mario, Donkey Kong, Yoshi, Kirby, Fox, Luigi, Captain Falcon, Jigglypuff, Peach, Daisy, Bowser, Sheik, Dr. Mario, Falco, Mr. Game & Watch, Zero Suit Samus, Wario, Diddy Kong, Sonic, Olimar, Lucario, Wolf, Villager, Wii Fit Trainer, Little Mac, Me Brawler, Pac-Man. Oh, I forgot Me Gunner on the Magic and Gunners. Pac-Man, Duck Hunt Duo, Ryu, Ken, Ridley, King K. Rool, Isabelle, Incineroar, and Banjo-Kazooie. So as you can clearly tell, 35. And from the miscellaneous group, you can include the technicalities of, you can include Ganon and Rosalina, and technically speaking, you can include Bowser Jr. I removed those because I wanted to make it fair. Not only that, in the sword wielder part, you can include Corrin as a brawler more than you can with a sword fighter, because Corrin, although has a sword, he uses the sword very rarely. He uses his sword for his tilts, I think part of his jab, I think the first hit of his jab, and as a conjuncture on his aerials. I think up air is the only aerial that he only uses the sword, and I believe neutral air, no, up air and side air, or forward air have a sword, use the sword primarily, and neutral has the sword as well. But all of his specials, all of his smashes, the rest of his aerials and neutral air also uses a lot of his draconic body. So technically speaking, Corrin could go up to the brawler section. Not only that, Pokemon Trainer, for example, Charizard is basically a brawler. He uses more of his body to fight than his fire powers and being a Pokemon. Same thing can be said for Ivysaur. He fights more with his vines, and technically speaking, up air, down air, and neutral B and side B are all much more of magic wielding attacks. But then again, most characters in the brawling side of things utilize just their brawls. They don't utilize special abilities. Like the entirety of Mario's attacks are basically just fighting type moves, you know? They're just fighters. They're just fighting moves. Like, sure, he has a fireball, and Flood, technically speaking, is not an attack. Flood is not him. It's not a move that he knows. It's an object that he's utilizing. Like, DK's attacks are purely physical. Yoshi, the same thing. Kirby. I know some lists, and this is why I have my problems with these two images. I have first this one of characters that attacks with swords, attacks with punches and kicks, energy, and others. The reason why I didn't utilize this image, or I didn't just add the characters from Smash Ultimate and the rest of the DLC from Ultimate or from 4 in here, is because I don't agree with this image in particular. Because this image, I don't know where exactly I'm going to put it because I'm very centered in the frame and I don't particularly like that. So yeah, the image will be going here. It utilizes its swords and sure, but at the same time attacks with others and includes Fox and Falco. Fox and Falco are not characters that utilize other. They don't attack with other. They have a gun, but everything else, it's a fighting. Their jabs, their side B, their down B, the only moves that really are different than not just a typical punch and kick would be up B, are the specials actually. I mean, up B, side B, down B, regular B. That's about it for both. And then Pit and Dark Pit, technically speaking, there are sword wielders. You know, they have arrows, sure, but like, here's the thing. That's the thing. Because why I don't agree with this is mostly if you're going to include Falco and Fox and the Pits into, and even Duck Hunt Duo into the attacks with others, then you should include Robin, because Robin has all these specials are not sword attacks, and even its sword attacks are basically magic attacks because of the 11th sword. Same thing with Link. The Links have differentiating in this effect. They don't have all the moves. Their specials, only one of their specials includes the sword. You know, and technically speaking, you could say that Fox and Falco, both of two of their specials utilize their bodies, not their just swords, compared to the Links. So that's why I didn't include that. That's why I don't like that comparison. Then you also have this other image that is projectile slash energy. I went more with this, but I still don't completely agree with this. Sword fighters and brawlers. Because why? Because like, for example, Corrin is a sword fighter. Well, let me put me again here. A sword fighter with parts of a brawler, but he really is much more all three, because his special, neutral special, is an energy attack. And if you're going to include characters like Mario that use projectiles and energy, where only one projectile, and by the way, I just noticed that projectile is poorly typed on this, only one move from Mario is really a projectile. The same thing with Zero Suit Samus. I don't agree with both images on Zero Suit Samus, where, well, I agree with this one, the punches and kicks, the first one, but I don't agree with this one because this one says she is a brawler with projectiles. Sure, she has one projectile, and I don't think that's enough to classify you as a magic projectile user. If you're gonna do one move, if one move is enough to say that she's a projectile user, so is Corrin, and I don't agree with that. Same thing with if you're gonna include me Brawler's gonna say you should include them in the thing, but they're already there. Same thing with Lucario. Lucario is much more of a fighter, a brawler than he is just a magic user or projectile. Not only that, like Charizard and Bowser, technically speaking, have projectiles with their flamethrowers. Yoshi's the same thing. Up B is a projectile, so why is it not in the projectile section? That's why I don't completely agree with it. I agree with it more when it comes to Fox and Falco. And there's the thing. For example, in the miscellaneous section, I included Ganon, which is Ganondorf, which is clearly a brawler. Rosaline and Luma can also be considered brawlers. Same thing with Bowser Jr. can be considered a brawler. Then Bayonetta and Rob can also be considered brawlers alongside Greninja. Greninja could technically speaking be considered a brawler, but we never get this. And once again, look at this picture. This, again, 7 characters basically doing the exact same move. Don't tell me that animating a sword you can only do it so many ways, when clearly the brawlers is the same thing. What's the difference between Mario's 1-2? Mario does a 1-2 punch, and multiple characters have a 1-2 punch as well. He finishes it with a kick, and some characters finish like Luigi finishes with his ass. There's literally no difference between the moves apart from the final animation. Same thing with the jab for the jabs for Kirby and Fox. Kirby and Fox have the exact same jab. The difference is Kirby uses his hands while Fox uses his feet. That's not a major difference. That's literally the same thing. It's funny. Every time we get a new sword wielder, oh, it's this and that. Not only that, sword wielders, most of the time, their moveset is far more original. Like, again, Mario doesn't utilize... Like, Donkey Kong is 100% brawler. Same thing with Luigi. Same thing with Captain Falcon. Same thing with Peach and Daisy. Same thing with Bowser. Heck, Sheik is basically the same thing. Same thing with Dr. Mario, Falco. Characters, their moveset is based around their bodies and martial arts, let's put it that way. Being a brawler, fighting with their body. But then, like, look at Link. Link, half of his moveset, or, you know, his specials, are all revolving around, outside of one move, one special, doesn't revolve around a sword. His grab didn't, well, not for Champion Link, but for Young Link and Toon Link, doesn't revolve around a sword. His sword is not how he grabs people. Corrin, and for example, Corrin, most of his moveset is not even around the sword. He has very little moves that are actually using a sword. Joker, completely different moveset with his bees. All of his bees are different than any other thing. The hero looks to be very different as well when it comes to specials, and maybe even just regular old smash and tilts, because we haven't really seen how the magic things are gonna work, how these things are gonna work. Same thing for the pits, technically speaking. Now sure, you can say, it's all the thing. Let's be completely clear. The only reason why sword fighters get so much crap is because sword is the most, well, not the most common weapon in Smash, clearly. Punches and kicks are. But it's because of their art style, being the anime art style. But here's the thing that always comes down to with that. You can say there's too many sword fighters and too many anime sword boys, as some people call them, sword fighters, anime sword fighters. Problem is, almost the entire Smash roster falls under the anime art style. Here's the number of characters. I'm just gonna read the number of characters in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, counting up to the character of Banjo-Kazooie in DLC, so character number 72. Here are the number of characters created outside of Japan there are in the game right the fuck now and coming soon. Diddy Kong, Dark Samus, King K. Rool, Banjo-Kazooie. Well, shit. So, 4 characters out of 78 were created outside of Japan. And you can say what does that have to do with anything regarding anime? Just one thing, very, very clear. Anime is Japanese animation. So, Smash is technically speaking an anime, and all games created in Japan are Japanese animation. But another thing that really buggers me, really annoys, grinds my gears, as some people would say, is the anime sword fighter argument gets thrown around only to the characters people don't want. If it's a Fire Emblem character, oh, it's another anime sword fighter, even if they're not really an anime sword fighter. Robin and Corrin, the last 2 original Fire Emblem characters added, were very different from all the others. And, by the way, Fire Emblem has a tremendous amount of things we can bring into Smash that has yet to be in. So that's why I keep saying that that Fire Emblem is a poorly represented franchise. Same thing with Joker, same thing with the hero. But it is always the hypocrisy. The people right now complaining about the hero being a generic anime sword boy are the same people requesting Sora. Are the same people that were requesting Ganondorf to have a sword. Are the same people that are, for example, requesting Steve. And Steve, although he wouldn't be anime, he'll be a sword fighter. That's just the way the breaks are. Hey, the same people, I've seen the same people, they are super hyped right now about, they're super hitting on Hero right now. We're pretty excited for Joker, even after we found out that he had a dagger, which is basically a sword. I put him in sword fighter, because he also has a sword. You know? And there's probably a lot more characters. Heck, Isaac. People complaining about Hero want Isaac in the game. Isaac would also have a sword. Let's be completely honest, his specials might have been completely different, and some of his moves will be completely different, but he will also use a sword, and you know it, he will. That's just the facts. The anime sword fighter is the worst argument in Smash to utilize against any character. Again, for 2 reasons. Anime fills out, let me just make sure I will say this number correctly. How many, it's 78 characters in the game. I'm just opening my calculator to make sure I say this number, to know how much the percentage is correctly. Times, I don't know, it should be minus, let's see, 98%, no, not 98%, 95%, 3.9. Actually, yeah, basically, unless it's 94%, it would be funny. No, not 90, wait, 95%, using me 3. Okay, so 94%, basically 94% of characters in Smash Brothers are an anime character. 94% of the Smash roster, technically speaking, constitutes as an anime character. And when it comes to sword fighter or having too many sword wielders, we have more brawlers into the game. And you weren't complaining about sword wielders when asking for Ganondorf to have a sword, when you are requesting Sora, and when you're requesting Isaac and Steve, which are characters that are absolutely going to have swords. Maybe Steve would have a pickaxe. Maybe that. But yeah, I guess that'll be it for this video, where I probably it says 23 minutes, but I know I'm gonna have to cut a big part of it because of a lot of noise that was going on because of construction going on that I had to stop for a little bit because I couldn't even hear myself think. And I think right now it's going on as well, and I don't know if you guys can hear it. But anyway, let me in the comment section, what do you think about anime sword fighters in Super Smash Brothers? And yeah, tell me who. Heck, just gonna point this out there, not to be a hypocrite. I don't complain about brawlers in Smash because my most wanted character, it would be a brawler. Well, technically it depends on how they would do them, but it would be, you know, Mr. Wonder Red. But anyway, I guess that'll be it for this. And well, I am pro Rex being in the game as a Pokemon trainer in reverse, where the blades are in the back and he's in the front, and the character that changes is in the back, but your moveset changes in the front. It's the whole thing. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. Let me guys in the comment section what do you think about anime sword rulers in Smash, and join me again next time. Or next time would be on Sunday when we go for Can They Be DLC Season 2 Episode 2, well, technically speaking being Episode 1, which will be about Agumon. That's right there. Why did I go there? It's there because, like, technically speaking, it's right behind me. I have to point it there. Wait, right above my head, right there. And the entirety of, or maybe not the entirety, but like one more Digimon that I think would be in Smash. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. I've been LegendofDS. See you guys next time.